Hello, my name is Brianna Badgett, and my project concept for a tasting menu is a 5-course menu featuring brunch inspired dishes from around the world, perfectly paired with a beer option that complements it. As a rising culinary leader, I was incredibly excited to explore flavors, finding it easy to focus on the dishes, but I did enjoy the challenge of pairing a beverage with them with a focus on beer, obviously. You'll see my choices range in cultural backgrounds, yet unite in a gradual climb from crisp and refreshing to warm and hearty, leaving you ready for a midday nap. So, for my first course, we're starting in Italy with prosciutto al molone, an Italian antipasti that I would present different than this image as thinly sliced cantaloupe interlaced with salty prosciutto, topped with a small mint sprigs and a drizzle of sweet honey. I would serve this with Ommegang Hennepin, a Belgian style farmhouse saison. This beer is known for being crisp with a champagne style level of carbonation, which for the first course would keep it on the lighter side. Though this beer has more of a complex profile while being spiced with ginger, coriander, and orange peel with a peppery profile with the notes of citrus. The citrus will complement the sweetness of the honey and melon, while the farm-style funk will play off the saltier prosciutto from the dish. For the second course, we're heading to the American South for a fried green tomato corn cake appetizer I came up with. So I described this as a toasted cornbread cake topped with a fried green tomato and a dollop of a tangy sour cream-based remoulade made from lemon juice, chives, and minced capers. I was thinking of a beer to complement this that keeps it fresh with citrus notes to accentuate the natural sweetness of the tomato as well as the tang from the remoulade. I also wanted a malt character to accompany the cornbread. So what I came up with, I landed on Allagash White, which is a Belgian wit beer brewed in Portland, Maine. The brewer themselves describe this beer as versatile, with an aromatic intensity enough to match more flavorful foods, while its balance plays well alongside lighter dishes. One of their top pairings, found on their website, is with a lobster roll, which is typically buttery and bready with the sweetness of the lobster, and it's typically in a tangy mayo-based sauce. I found this profile very similar to my tomato dish, and I believe this beer will complement it well without overpowering the flavor. Now we'll move on just a bit more south to Mexico. A common dish I adapted for brunch is chorizo chilaquiles. We're amping up the flavor, warmth, and richness with the dish comprised of fried tortilla chips cooked in a mole-style salsa topped with spicy chorizo, onion, cilantro, sliced avocado, fresh radish, crumbled cotija cheese, and a drizzle of cream. So for this, naturally, I went with a beer we tried in class, Modelo Negra. The balance of warmth, body, and crispness was memorable to me, and the richer version of the Modelo would pair well with the dish, in my opinion. It still has the crispness to complement the fresh cream, radish, and cilantro, while the caramel roasted malt with chocolate notes amplify the mole flavors of chocolate and chilies. I personally would love to try this pairing in real life. And then for the heartiest point of the meal, we're heading across the ocean to the Hawaiian Islands for a traditional comfort meal often eaten as for breakfast or often as a hangover cure, which is loco moco. The dish comprises of a meaty hamburger patty slathered with sauteed onions and mushrooms in a brown gravy, served over white rice and topped with a runny side-up egg and green onion. So the answer for what to pair with this would be a German Schwarzbier. I aim to rise in heartiness in dishes, but was aiming to obtain a darker malty beer to complement the savory, meaty gravy, yet cut through with crisp and refreshing mouthfeel as to not make the pairing too heavy for a brunch menu. And then to close out the tasting menu with a sweet ending, I landed on a spiced carrot cake bread pudding with a lime glaze. So the recipe would consist of brioche bread pudding with shredded carrots and walnuts cooked in a spice custard with cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, and allspice, topped with a lime zested glaze and a dehydrated lime slice. I was pretty inspired in this dish after we tasted Chimay Grand Reserve in class. I thought the darker, sweet, and warming sensation would pair lovingly with something like a spiced carrot cake as soon as I tasted it. With the notes of dried fruit, with yet a warm yet sweet finish, this would do great as a dessert beer without being overtly sweet and toothy. And that's my tasting menu. I found this assignment very enjoyable, especially as someone with ambition in the culinary field. And I would love to hear your opinion as someone with experience in that field and how I can improve my menu making and pairing skills. Thank you.